big week in the UAE for small businesses because this week the President of the UAE, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, introduced into law the new bankruptcy law, which is a pretty significant creation in the UAE for encouraging and supporting entrepreneurs and risk takers. Philippa, you've been looking at the bankruptcy law. What exactly does it do that's different?
So the law's not into force yet. It's been decreed, and then we have about 3 months before it goes into force. So we're looking at either very late 2016 or early 2017. The law is basically to protect the rights of borrowers and creditors, and to have a more structured way of restructuring or unwinding companies which have defaulted on their loans. I think the biggest and the most obvious difference is that company officers can no longer go to prison for bouncing checks and that type of thing, which will be a big relief for many business owners and
so previously one of the inhibitors for entrepreneurs or small businesses is this threat that if you somehow default or bounce a check that you actually are in serious criminal danger, you can go to prison for that, and that's now changed, has it?
Not yet. It will at the end of the year. But I don't think at the moment that banks are really taking that kind of drastic action. I mean, we've already seen the UAE Banking Federation move towards a more collaborative effort to restructure SMEs who have a number of loans with different banks. And what basically the new law means is that work will continue in a more kind of structured way, following regulations rather than it as a collaborative way that the banks have been doing it over the last few months. So hopefully we'll see a lot less skips, because that was an issue at the end of last year.
Skips, what do you mean?
Small business owners leaving the country when they run into trouble rather than dealing with their loans. So then banks had a lot of bad loans which they had to completely write off. Whereas with a law that allows you to restructure a company, you can in some way let the company continue trading, and you may get more return.
So this is like Chapter 11 law they have in the United States?
I think that's the intention, yeah. I will have to talk to some lawyers and see
find out more,
what their opinions are on how effectively the law will work. There may be some issues around the capacity of local courts to oversee restructuring, but it's definitely a huge step forward for the UAE, and Saudi Arabia and other GCC countries are considering taking similar steps.
Oh, are they?
Saudi Arabia, definitely, yeah.
Okay, so that's for the people we were with last night, the entrepreneurs and the people actually who are really, they don't have a lot of finance to work with. That's quite an important change.